God is so powerful that the blessings that you're asking for and receive just will not make sense. I'm telling you guys, we are blessed and highly favored, all of us. All you gotta do is just get out of your own goddamn way. Hey soul babes, welcome to our brand new channel. The space here is fresh and vibrant, so pull up a chair, grab a hot chocolate or a sparkling water or some shit and get comfy. I have some good news for y'all today, so stay tuned. So today's topic is about accepting the blessings that want to make their way to you. And as we're talking, I'm going to be working on a gym bag that I'm making. This is going to be the bottom portion of it, and I'll show you guys what I've got at the end. I feel like a lot of times we get in our own way with the blessings that we receive daily, or they're so mundane to us at this point that we take them for granted, or even worse, we'll chalk up miracles to coincidences. And if y'all don't know, I'm gonna tell y'all now that I don't believe in coincidences because I believe in a living universe that is here to supply you with everything that you don't even know that you're asking for. I see coincidences as divine incidences, and it rhymes, so it's true. And I just wanted to come on here and inspire y'all today because I just had a divine miracle happen to me yesterday as of the recording of this video, so really it'll probably be like a couple weeks ago. So the local Pride event had opened up its vendor applications. My boyfriend signed up again this year. We did it last year and really enjoyed it, but I've never done an event like this before, like for me. I'd helped other people sell stuff, like my boyfriend Valentino, for example, but I had never done it. I was scared and thinking, oh, I gotta crank out a lot of stuff and it's too expensive. No one is gonna buy from me. And I was scared I didn't have enough money to sign up anyway, but I was also so scared that I didn't check my bank account either to confirm if that fear was true. And so I sat and I prayed, God, I will sign up for the Pride event if you come through and give me the amount that I need. And y'all, the next morning I had this feeling that I just had to really check my bank account. I don't check my bank account in the morning. That's just like bad vibes to start the day off with sometimes, like to be like, okay, got to keep track of everything that I have. But it felt a little different. I was like, no, I should check it. Completely forgetting that I'd prayed this prayer, by the way. And I checked it and I received my state tax return and received more than what I had even asked for. I saw that and I just laughed and I was like looking up at the universe. I was like, you sly dog, you got jokes today. And I just started singing and praising, and I'm getting kind of excited, talking about it still. And then I told Val, and so he checked his bank account and he didn't get his state tax return yet, even though we filed them in the same 24-hour period. So, some people could be like, that's a coincidence, but no, that is an answered prayer for sure. And he was thinking the same thing. He just kind of looked at me knowingly, and I was like, "Yep, that sounds about right. That's Miss Universe for you." And so I just wanted to tell you guys that because that is a prime example, literally like a current 21st century yesterday example that God will give you what you ask for if you trust it. But you can't send out your mixed signals either. The universe has to give you what you attract. That's how that works. That's why you can attract things you say you want and things that you don't say that you want. And this has been a huge learning experience for me, and I'm still figuring some stuff out. I know for the longest, though, I'd been saying, oh, I want money so bad so I can do this, this, and this, just hopelessly kind of longing for it. And I would be dreaming these big dreams and be like, yeah, well, one day, but not now, obviously. In hindsight, it was kind of like simple stuff. Like it was stuff that I could do now. Like why not now? I mean, one of those, for example, is like my crochet business, and I'm glad I started that. I can't imagine a better time to start it. But at the time, even just like a few months ago, I was like, yeah, in the future. And so the universe was like, okay, in the future, you know what I mean? But lately, I've been trying something different. I've been saying, abundance is mine. I have all that I need. My millions are coming to me now. And y'all, this is the first time, this is another piece of good news. This is the first time in my life that I have not lived paycheck to paycheck. Like, I still have money in my account. The first time in my life that that has ever happened, that I still have money in my account and I'm getting my next like paycheck. I can't make this shit up. And I'll add, I mean, this is happening when I quit my job like 2 months ago. Like out of all the times, you know what I mean? Like this, it shouldn't be now. You know what I mean? Like if it made sense, like air quotes up in the air. God is so powerful that the blessings that you're asking for and receive just will not make sense. They just won't. I've been living abundantly, the most abundantly that I would say that I have been in a while. I mean, I've been going to like the farmer's market and buying like good foods for myself. I've been supplying myself with the materials that I need for my crochet business and things like that. And I'm telling you, when I looked at my bank account, like the math was not mathing. Like it never made sense when I looked at it. God was just pouring into me, is just pouring into me and blessing me. And I kind of relate it to the story of what the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes. If you're not familiar with that story, I grew up Baptist, so I have a lot of like Jesus stories that like I kind of relate to things, but you can whatever, religion story, whatever, just make it relate to you. Anyway, so how the story goes is basically Jesus was preaching, teaching, and there was a crowd of 5,000 men. And the people that went uncounted were the women and children, but there was a lot of them there too. But he had been like teaching for a long time, and these people were getting winded and they were getting hungry and they were going to have to go home and leave and eat, or they were going to stay there and just kind of pass out for the sake of hearing his teaching. A lot of them had traveled a long way, land before cars and shit. So anyway, there was this little boy who had 2 loaves and 5 fish for his like lunch that day or something. And Jesus was like, "Hey, how much food you got?" And he was like, "Well, I have this much." And Jesus was like, "Yeah, that'll feed my people. You mind?" And he was like, "Oh, okay." And so he did. He started, like splitting, he started like handing out like the fish and like breaking the loaves of bread. And as he was doing that, he just didn't run out. He kept handing it out to the people and was able to feed everyone their fill, the 5,000 plus. And they even had 12 baskets of leftovers afterwards, I believe. That's crazy, but that's what it feels like. I feel like with my money in this season, I feel like that lady, this is also a Bible story, who only had a little bit of oil and she was so poor. And so when she was talking to one of the prophets, he was like, "Okay, well, start pouring out the oil into jars to sell." And she was like, "Okay, I trust, I have that faith." And she did. It just did not stop pouring and overflowing. I'm telling you guys, we are blessed and highly favored, all of us. All you gotta do is just get out of your own goddamn way. Just do it. Allow yourself the space to dream and not obey your fear. Because if it scares you, then you're doing something right. At least that's how I look at it. But that's a future video that I've got cooking up, so stay tuned. But here, let me read you guys something from Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. If y'all are new here, then let me tell you now that I am obsessed with these books. And if you've been here and you haven't gotten these books by now or listened to the audiobook on Spotify, then what are you doing? Just do yourself a favor now. You won't regret it. I promise you, these books have changed my life. And they will change yours. Now, here's the quote. "You will not have that for which you ask, nor can you have anything you want. This is because your very request is a statement of lack. Your saying you want a thing only works to produce that precise experience, wanting, in your reality. The correct prayer is therefore never a prayer of supplication, which means like asking for things out of, feeling like you don't have it, but a prayer of gratitude. When you thank God in advance for that which you choose to experience in your reality, you, in effect, acknowledge that it is there, in effect. Thankfulness is thus the most powerful statement to God, an affirmation that even before you ask, I have answered. Therefore, never supplicate, appreciate." And that's from Conversations with God and Uncommon Dialogue, book 1. And so why did I bring that up? I mean, didn't I just say, you should be asking for stuff? Kind of. Let me read some more, because I know, like, if you were like me, hearing that quote kind of stirred your brain up and made you a little pissed. So I'm going to keep reading from the book because the guy talking to God in the next the sentence. He kind of sounded like me. He said, "But what if I'm grateful to God in advance for something and it never shows up? That could lead to disillusionment and bitterness." And he eventually brings up unanswered prayer later, which I'm sure we've all thought about and felt we've experienced. But God replies, "If you have but the faith of a mustard seed, you shall move mountains." You come to know it is there because I said it is there. Because I said that even before you ask, I shall have answered. Because I said and have said to you in every conceivable way, through every teacher you can name, that whatsoever you shall choose, choosing it in my name, so shall it be. And so I think that really shows a highlight of where we use gratitude as a tool, not really a tool, but a expression of being. I brought up the examples of my manifestation because when I was being like, oh, I wish I had money, oh, I wish I had money, it was kind of this faithless, I don't have it now, and I'm probably not going to. So I'm just going to sit here and dream, but not really do anything about it. Whereas when I changed my language and I started saying, oh, well, my money is coming to me now. Everything that I'm doing right now is going to set me up for success. And also praying to God with the prayer of, if you want me to do this thing, then you will do this for me. That's how I know that I will do this. And then following through with that, being a good steward of what's given to me. That's the word that comes to mind. And so this attitude of gratitude, I didn't mean for that to rhyme. This attitude of gratitude reminds me of every spiritual teacher and mental health professional that I can think of, how they encourage hope and gratitude for a reason. Some of the most common characters that are referred to, characters makes them sound like they're not real. Some of the most referred to people that have gratitude practices are Oprah Winfrey and Tony Robinson. Now, the skeptics among us may think, well, it's easy to be grateful if you're fucking rich. And I mean, sure, maybe so, but what does it hurt to just try? Just try to have a positive outlook on life. I mean, you won't lose anything by doing that. I promise you. You might think so. You might think you'll look foolish, but right now, you look sad. And what's a more joyous life to lead anyway? A grateful fool or the sad pessimist? Or, maybe you're thinking they're a realist. I was a really big pessimist, and I still fight those urges, which is why I kind of bring up this alternative dialogue and thought process, because I get it. I have been there. 100%. The low confidence, the low self-esteem. That's putting it lightly, saying, I would say chronically low. It was pretty impossible to bring up by other people. But then I kind of got tired of that, of just kind of looking at things through a negative lens all the time. And then, I start to see the blessings flow. You can use myself as an anecdote if you need that inspiration. But if you don't want to use me as, your anecdote, then use Oprah goddamn Winfrey. She says, what you focus on expands. And when you focus on the goodness in your life, you create more of it. Opportunities, relationships, even money flowed my way when I learned to be grateful no matter what happened in my life. And just to kind of drive that point home, I found a really good clip where she talks about gratitude and her gratitude journaling and how that helped her and kind of opened up her mind and heart to these blessings. And so I'm going to play that now.
What I know for sure is that no matter what is going on in your life, I believe if you concentrate on what you have, you will always end up having more, even if it's just $2. If you focus on what you don't have, you will never, ever, ever have enough. So 16 years ago, I started a gratitude journal. Y'all can sit down. 16 years ago, I started a gratitude journal, and I will have to say, it was the single most important thing I believe I've ever done. So every day, for years now, I've written down 5 things to be grateful for. And you have to write them down. It's very different than just saying, oh, I'm grateful for today. You have to physically write them down because there's power in the words. Even simple things like fresh flowers or somebody holding the door open for me. So when you wake up in the morning and you consciously look for things to be thankful for, what happens is if you go through the day thinking about the 5 things that you're going to do in the evening, you are more alive and receptive to the goodness that comes in your life. Because sometimes it is as simple as somebody holding the door. One time it was just 2 squirrels eating. I said, I better write that down. So when you allow yourself to feel gratitude in the present moment, in the now, what I promise you is that the spiritual dimension of your life begins to change. It opens up, it expands, and you just grow with it. That is the truth. If I ever spoke the truth in my life, if you want to change your state of being, start to be grateful.
And in the universe, again, we see how gratitude and openness allows you to actually see the blessings that come your way. And to me, that's why being grateful is so important. It's not just bullshit sunshine rainbows that people are trying to convince you to believe in. Your mind is so fucking powerful. You are so supported by the universe that you get supported in whatever mindset you choose to believe, whether it's positive or negative. I could have viewed the situation where I received my tax return as a coincidence because the money didn't come to me how I expected. Because when I was praying, I was thinking that I would earn that money through my crochet sales. I could have very easily said, oh, well, it's just a coincidence, and waited for the real sign, which I've done in my life. Don't do it. Don't do that. That's just self-sabotage. I mean, not trusting myself that my prayers would be answered when we already talked about that that's the key to manifestation and prayer, that you have to believe it. That just encourages the lack of self-confidence. And why wouldn't God want to answer your prayers? Are you not his child? And so with that, I leave you with a call to action or homework or challenge or whatever you want to call it. I'd say that I'm a pretty grateful person, and when I pray and manifest, I thank the universe in advance for the blessing to come that I am asking for. But I hadn't tried writing them down as a daily practice, like what Oprah talked about. And so I tried it today as I was writing the script. I was in a very sour mood and thinking, I gotta get this done. Oh, I'm so mad. I thought I already had it finished. But, inspired by the prophetess Oprah Winfrey herself, I decided to write down that list of 5 things. And I'm telling you, I was on point 2 when I started just feeling so much more joyful again. I felt like my normal self. I felt, I guess, like my love returned back to me. And so for the challenge this week, every day this week, write down 5 things that you're grateful for. I will be leading this challenge on my Instagram account and posting my gratitude lists and sharing how it's impacting me. And I'd love to see your gratitude lists. And so if you want to share them, please tag me at Arlo Noel. So that way we can encourage each other, hold each other accountable too. I'll be honest, I only did a few rows as I was talking. I thought this would take a lot longer, but I've only been recording for 24 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. Check out my Etsy store in the link below and follow my Instagram for some behind the scenes content. Remember that you are loved, that you are one with the divine, and that you have that powerful energy coursing through your veins. I love you, beautiful babes. And that does it for this week's episode. And until next time, have an abundant and blessed week. Bye.